Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tone's Market Analysis for Wednesday, July 19. This is my second attempt to do this video. I totally screwed up the first video by forgetting to do screen share and like rambling on for 15 minutes. My phone was blowing up, my Skype was blowing up, and like the chat, and I just, I wasn't paying attention to it. And going forward, I will always begin these videos with screen share like I used to do, because it's just, so much going on. I'm like so busy. I haven't even had time to eat yet. It's already like 2:30 in the afternoon. So the moment I'm done with this video, I'm probably going to take the rest of the day off and like deal with a million other things. Still have to buy like plane tickets to get from California back to New York. And speaking of California, I will be speaking at the State of Digital Money. I will be on the same panel as Eric Lombroso. I am on Eric's side as to the way to scale with SegWit. Ryan X. Charles will be on that panel, who is on the opposite side of things. And Paul Pway is on that panel, who is sort of in the middle. Paul runs one of my favorite SPV wallets, which is Airbitz. I think it's the most user-friendly, most convenient wallet. Hopefully, we can get through August 1st without any kind of a problem, and I can still keep a bunch of funds on that wallet because I just like it. Otherwise, I will have to completely better secure every single Satoshi that I have ever owned. So speaking of that, I'm sorry, I'm just like a little frustrated that I already like lost half an hour with the first attempt at this video that I totally screwed up. And like Max Kaiser retweeted the link to the previous video that has now been deleted because I deleted that tweet because the video didn't work. And that's kind of frustrating. So Max liked a couple of my videos. Max Kaiser, if you watch my shows, welcome. Thank you. One day I'll grow big enough to perhaps make it on your show, but we'll get there hopefully as my audience grows. So that would be kind of cool. Always love to expand my audience, even though I will need to take a long vacation sometime soon. All right. Speaking of videos, I started making these daily updates about what's going on with the fork and the chain split. I'm trying to make this friendly for like new people to Bitcoin. And my part one has already has almost 10,000 views. Again, I think Max Kaiser tweeted it out, so this helped a lot. And I hope these are fairly clear, and I'm going to try and do these as much as I can. Normally, I don't do 1-hour videos every single day. That's just crazy. But I'm not doing one today, obviously, but I'll do one on Thursday before I go to California, and then we'll see. And here are some of my most popular videos. The Magic Money is a documentary that I was in, and Crypto Scam Ripple and Crypto Scam Ethereum. And the moment this hard fork is over, Crypto Scam is going to be back on my to-do list. All right. Let's just get right to the model. Some of you already heard this without the screen share, but now you have the screen share. Okay. I'll try not to repeat myself too much, but I talk forever. I have been bullish the stock market for years. I'm bullish stock market for years. I've been giving presentations at Acapulco, Mexico, the last 3 years, and each time I told the entire crowd, generally to the audience laughter, that your gold is not going to go up, but your stocks will. Okay. So far, for the last 3 years, I've been completely correct. All right. And these could not have been the all-time highs because you had way too many chances to exit. So that was obvious to me. This is me dropping the noise, and what it looks like the market has popped again because of amazing Netflix earnings. I also, anyway, I had no time to trade the traditional markets. I tend to make one trade. I tend to make one traditional trade instead of like the 15 to 20 trades that I do for diversification. I'm going to make one trade. I might put my entire account into this one trade, and this trade can lose half of my account or more in a week because these are very, very leveraged bets. But my goal is to make 20%. And I will try to make 15 to 20% on one trade that I will hopefully get in tomorrow or Friday. Friday will be difficult because I'll be in California. If I enter the trade tomorrow, I'll tweet it out, not the trade itself, but the fact that I made the trade and what percentage. I'll take a screenshot of my brokerage account. I'm just gonna black out the asset that I'm trading and the strategy that I'm using for it. because some stuff is proprietary and some stuff I give away for free and some stuff I give away during my 1 hour consulting session, though most of the stuff is free on this YouTube channel. All right, throwing in the numbers. This is what I was saying on a previous video that I had to delete because there was no screen share, okay? I take nines very seriously. We had this 9 right here. I did not talk about this 9 on this YouTube channel because I was not showing you this indicator at the time, I don't think. But I take this 9 very seriously. I took this 9 seriously too. I would have, but we would have gotten back into the market around this candle. But this 9, you get the hell out, you take your profit, and then you go to cash at some point if you didn't take all of your profit. Took that 9 seriously. The next time we had a 9 was right here. Again, you rode this whole move up into the 9, made a bunch of money, and on the 9, you take your profit. This 9 kicked off a 13 count. Just had a consulting client today where I was explaining the 13 count on the bottom, which is very, very different. The 13 count from this 9 is up to a 10. This bullish count is on a 6. This 2 right here puts you in the bullish trade of the S&P 500. You go long on the 2. I hope I mentioned this in prior videos. We have a 6. Tomorrow, we're going to get a 7. On Friday, we're going to get an 8. When we get a 7 tomorrow, the countdown on the bottom will have an 11. When we get an 8, the countdown on the bottom will have a 12. When we get a 13 on Monday, and I'm saying when, so if we get a 13 on Monday on the bottom, there'll be a 9 at the top. That would be known as a 9-13-9. That is a monster sell signal. That could be the short-term top in the S&P 500. I would not wait for the 9. I wouldn't wait for the 9 to take my profit. If I was already in this trade as of the 2, and 7 and 8 are bullish days, I would take my profit on that 8, okay? Because if I flip to Bitcoin for a second, and I turn this on, sometimes you get lucky on a 9 and it's a huge up day. And then even if you held in there one more day, you got to exit way higher. But other times, the 9 is a huge bearish day. Either way, the 9 is telling you to take profits. So I wouldn't risk a gap open to the downside on Monday, okay, in the stock market. I would, if my 7 and 8 candles on the S&P look like this, I would take my profit on the 8. Maybe not all my profit, but some to most of that profit, okay? So that's how I would be playing the S&P 500 right now. Netflix, amazing earnings, did a lot of good there. All right, save this, close that. How high can the S&P go? Well, I have my next target at this line right here, okay? That's the weekly chart of the S&P 500. All right, gold. Gold is rebounding to the upside, okay? To me, this is not, I'm not bullish gold here, okay? You had confirmation on the low. You had a lower low and your momentum was lower, okay? Now we're back to the 50-day moving average. I remain bearish gold, even on a daily chart. This is just like a bounce, right? I don't see it. I would need like new highs to be bullish gold. I remain bearish gold. I mean, yeah, it's been a nice little run. Let's see if this run can make it to a 9. Let's throw those numbers up there. See, I'm not surprised. See that 9 right there? Like I said, I take 9s seriously. And I'm sure I would have pulled this up in real time if I did a show on this day. This 9 indicates it's time for this short trade to end. And this is an indication of a potential buy. The most likely outcome after a 9 is a 1, 2, 3, 4 candle bounce. 1 to 4 candle bounce. And then a reversal. Starting a 13 count. So we already have a 13 count going down and only made it to an 8. If this can make it to a 9, this 13 count is void. But if it makes it to a 9, the 9 itself would be a sell signal, either short-term or long-term. If this does not make it to a 9 and this count resumes to the downside, this could get very, very ugly. So there was a bullish trade as of the 3 right here, but I would keep a short leash on this trade. If it makes it to a 9, it could be a sustained reversal. So like I said, there's a lot in this index. Those that are calling me to inquire the code for this index, which I didn't make this, by the way. I just coded numbers that somebody else famously made. They just have a trademark around the name. So I don't like calling it by its real name because I don't want to get sued. I'm not in the mood for that. I don't have time for that, okay? So there you go. So I don't call it by its real name. I coded the math, and there you go. And a lot of private consultants are now inquiring about this. They want the code. That's fine. But if I give you the code and I don't explain it to you, it's useless to you. So I don't care. So you really want to take up the consulting call, 0.1 Bitcoin per hour. I know I have a lot of new visitors here, and I'll mention that later. Anyway, so gold is in a bounce. I don't believe this bounce is sustainable. So there was a long play here, but I probably would not have taken it. All right, let's close that. Weekly. The weekly is still stuck under this monster trend line resistance. You broke it for 1 week. 1 week does not make a trend, okay? You are actually counting down with red numbers. So if next week is a red week, you can make a red 9, which could potentially mean a short bounce, but also means it's a likely continuation after a short bounce, okay? So let's see what happens. I remain bearish gold on the weekly chart as well. Let me zoom out to give you a long-term view of the weekly chart. Let me drop the noise. And there, okay? This arrow is still in play for me. We might, bounce around, and I'm expecting a huge crash in gold, followed by a reversal to all-time highs, okay? I don't understand why people get mad at me about being bearish gold, because I am looking for all-time highs in gold. Not sure when. I have some of my models, some of my trading models, my technical analysis, some of it is showing that the low in gold, that gold won't reverse until the year 2032. But others are showing that gold can reverse next year or the year after. But either way, I'm looking for an $800 price. If we hit an $800 price early next year, I wouldn't be surprised if it bounces from that 800 all the way to 5,000 over the following 2 to 3 years, right? But for now, gold is very bearish to me. Technically and fundamentally, it's very bearish to me. All right, let's get out of here. As always, there is nothing on oil. This is a weekly chart of oil. We started the bearish countdown. The bearish countdown got broken. We haven't had a single 9 in a while. That looks like the last 9 on the bull side. And that 9 created a 13 that ended right here. So this giant 13 week, ignore this 13 count. It actually shouldn't be there. That's one of my bugs that I need to fix. So this 9 told you to take profit. This 13 told you to take profit. And there hasn't been anything else. We made it to an 8, switched, made it to a 5, switched. And we're still in this channel. So oil is not looking good. Still bearish oil. Dropping the noise. Still bearish oil. The inverse head and shoulders never worked out, and bearish oil. I remain bullish the euro short term with a complete, collapse of the European banking system. Sometime, maybe this year, probably next year. Maybe I'll move these arrows. For now, bullish with the German elections coming up. Haven't had much time to look into it. All right, Bitcoin. So I have a lot of new people watching my videos now, and so you haven't seen the older videos, right? I guess Cliff High had a lot to do with that, and now Max Kaiser, as they've referenced me a couple of times. So a lot of new people are coming in. So, and I know you have a lot of questions, but I'm just one person without a single assistant. Well, thank you, Rich, for at least doing questions for me. That helps. So until I'm able to get some college interns, or until I'm able to afford actual, assistants that I want to spend money on paying, it's going to be just me. So it's going to be hard for me to always repeat myself. But here's the weekly chart of Bitcoin. And I don't see a bubble here. I don't see a problem here. I know it's a logarithmic chart. And if you don't do it in a logarithmic way, then it might look like a bubble. But everyone is using logarithmic charts with Bitcoin, okay? And on a logarithmic chart, it's not a bubble. There was a bubble here. There was a bubble there, but there's no bubble right now, okay? It's just a little correction. Little correction completely caused by the big blockers. Those that were blocking SegWit, those that want to, infiltrate Bitcoin, those that want to centralize mining, those that want to centralize development of Bitcoin, okay? Those that want 12 nodes around the world because that is all you need to have decentralization, okay? These are the people that have been the problem, and I fully accuse them of causing the price drop in Bitcoin, okay? You can agree with me or not. That doesn't matter, right? I don't really care what you think. I fully accuse them, and it's so obvious right now. The more support SegWit gets of getting into the code, the better the more confidence, the higher the price of Bitcoin. The moment there's a hiccup in SegWit activation, the price crashes. You don't have to be a trader. You don't have to be a genius. You can be just a normal person looking at the news of how close are we to getting SegWit and how the price is doing, okay? With every piece of news slowing down activation of SegWit, the price drops. Every piece of news that speeds up the activation of SegWit, the price rises. If the piece of news that speeds up the activation of SegWit comes from some incompetent clown doing the programming, the price does not go up. The price is confused, okay? Nobody wants SegWit programmed by a clown, okay? I don't want that. I would rather not have SegWit at all. I would rather take my chances on August 1st with the user-activated soft fork than have a bunch of incompetent developers even looking at the Bitcoin source code, okay? That's my opinion on the situation. So here's the weekly chart. And the only way I look at the weekly chart these days is with my, new favorite indicator. Oh, the indicator isn't new. This is a slight variation of that indicator that someone, programmed for me. So the numbers on the bottom are actually incorrect. It has a different bug than before, but we're working on it. Well, they're working on it with my guidance, but it's being worked on. Let's put it that way, okay? So the weekly chart. I told the world on my video, this is a take profit 9. Those that some people listened, took their profit. Great. By the way, my information is worth what you pay for it. And since no one is, I have about 500 live viewers, 450 at the moment. You're paying nothing for this. So you're trading at your own risk, guys. But this 9 told me to take profit. Somewhere around here, if I didn't take 100% of my position off the table, this one right here told you to do so. This 9 called for a 1 to 4 day pullback and then most likely higher. But after the 4 days, it started going lower. So the moment the price dropped below 24.62, this indicator said short it. The indicator said short it, okay? And I tweeted out to short it, okay? And then we bounced. Now we're still at a red 4. A red 4 tells you that your short trade on the long-term view of Bitcoin is still in play, okay? So that's all we know about the weekly chart. Until this candle or the next candle or the next candle closes above 2,500, this will remain in a bearish tone. Pardon the pun. All right. So I had a lot of questions on this. People were asking me, where are all these lines coming from? So let's zoom out. Let me zoom out. Oh, by the way, you know what? Here. I have 500 people, 450 people watching. Here's my link. Here's my trading view link. Here's my trading view link, guys. I'm pasting it right there. So you click on those and you can see these charts anytime you like, okay? There. You can zoom out, you can zoom in, you can do whatever you like, okay? But as I change stuff, you'll also see it change on your end, okay? I haven't had time to publish the trading view. I really should. Let me zoom this out. This chart has been around for a while. Oh, hate it when I do that. This chart has been around for a while. I started doing this chart right before this triangle broke down. There are articles on Cointelegraph. So look at the date, August. So in July, if you go to early August, right here, if you go to Cointelegraph, or actually if you go to my website, if you go to publications, if you find the articles from early August of 2014, August, intro to candles, intro to volume, intro to patterns. This is a good one, intro to patterns. In intro to patterns, I specifically there was an educational section. This is August 16, 2014. I described this triangle in detail. It was actually after the triangle broke down, and I described what the target was. So I guess right here. So this article came too late explaining what the triangle was. So what that means is August 16th was too late. So if I go to August 9th, what was the educational section on? Fundamentals. Anyway, somewhere in here there was an educational. So I was educating on something. Education, intro to volume. But look at this right here. See this triangle right here? Boom. I had the triangle. And I would have talked about how this triangle would lead to a $120 drop, a possible momentum move of 120. A triangle is indicating a possible, well, it's to the downside. I mean, I explain it here. The difference between the high of the base. So if you go here, this was 120, so this was 120, right? So this chart, this daily chart of me talking about this chart goes all the way back to me predicting that this triangle would cause a $120 price drop. That's actually exactly how much it fell right here. That's about a difference of 120, okay? And I've been doing this chart ever since, all right? Been a little wrong right here, and I explained that on many other videos. Anyway, so in general, I'm looking at the purple channel going up. This is for all the new people that join, guys. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Sometime around here, if you go to my videos from somewhere around early May, I made a call saying that once we get to the top of the purple channel, we should ride the purple channel for a while, the way we rode the bottom of the purple channel all throughout the second half of 2016. And in order to give me more, information, I decided to put a green channel connecting all the highs that went above my purple channel with some like reasonable lows, including this high that didn't make the purple channel, right? So I used as many of the critical points around the purple to create a more condensed green channel. And I expected us to stay in the green channel. And what happened was we broke out of the green channel around here on, you know, SegWit activation hype and August 1st. But then anyway, I spoke about this in other videos. And some of these horizontal lines are Fibonacci lines. They're coming from this low here to the all-time high there, okay? And that's where I'm getting these Fibonacci's. So that's where all these lines come from, all right? Let's zoom in and let's throw this on. See what we got. So I told everyone about this 9. I tweeted out about this 9, telling you that the bearish momentum on the daily chart needs to end right there on the 9, okay? The 9 was not a reversal candle because look, there was so much discretion here. This is why everyone trades this differently. The 9 has an entire day. You can exit in the beginning of the day, at the end of the day before, or the following day. It all depends on your trading style. Me personally, I probably would have taken some profit on this day because during the day, this looked like a reversal candle. If this candle looked like this the entire day and I had a bearish trade, I would have waited for a reversal candle. Over here, that's a reversal candle. That's a doji to me, okay? Doji with a nice long wick on the bottom. That's beautiful, okay? And it happened at a double support. My trend line and a Fibonacci line happened at a double support, happened on a reversal candle, happened the day after a 9. All signals led to a tradable bounce. Now, the 9 is telling me that there's a 1 to 4 day recovery followed by a deeper fall in prices, which is still possible. We are on a 4th day and we're still at 79% BIP 91, okay? So 77, so it's dropping, okay? This may not be so good, okay? Probably explains why the price is dropping. I mean, you can guess the price right here by this number. Because when I woke up this morning, guys, when I woke up this morning and looked at this was 81.5% when I woke up, okay? And overnight, the price was even higher. So it's possible this number was higher than 81.5%. Now we're at 77.7%. And look, your price is almost at the low for the day. I mean, again, you don't have to be a genius to know that the moment this here goes up to 85%, the price will probably be somewhere up here in the $2,600, $2,700 range, okay? The market wants SegWit. It's like you can't get it through some of these people's brains, okay? The market wants SegWit and nothing else, okay? If you convolute SegWit with clown code, price will not go up. You have to only do SegWit, okay? This is why I have been saying for a month, you need to run BIP 91 without SegWit 2x. And no one was able to answer me seriously on that question. Can you run BIP 91 without SegWit 2x? I was asking everyone, and no one had the ability to answer that question. Guess what's happening right now? SegWit 2x code is not even runnable yet. It's not being released for 2 more days. And look, we already have, hide that. We already have, no, not that. No, not that either. We already have 77% signaling BIP 91 without SegWit 2x. This is what I wanted, okay? Then last night, Gregory Maxwell comes out with a little bit of a concern. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Right here. Gregory Maxwell comes out telling you that 80% could cause some problems with the other 20%, mining enough blocks that aren't being, connected to other blocks. And this needs to be kind of fixed. So it's possible that miners are delaying crossing the 80% threshold until this is better resolved. Okay, so this may not be anything to worry about. Okay, we still have time, but that's all it is right now. So we're on the edge. So there are two things to consider. I mean, the SegWit activation is completely driving the price, but from a technical perspective, it's looking beautiful on my chart. The 9 and this candle and the support told me to go long. Now we're stuck at a resistance point. Right here, price couldn't break it. Right here, price couldn't break it. We have another resistance point at the 50-day moving average, and on the weekly chart, we have 2,500, okay? So if you only traded this indicator, technically this 2 being higher than this 1 intraday is a bullish trade, but I would never have taken this trade, okay? This is where a little bit discretion and using the indicator comes in. And those that have been calling me up for private consulting to better understand this indicator, I told them specifically, even though this 2 is in a way a tradable bullish trade, I would never have made this trade to the upside. And but I would have made this trade off of the 9 to the upside. Even if I was short, I would have made the bullish trade here prematurely before the green numbers came in, assuming that there was a 1 to 4 day bounce plus all this support, plus the reversal candle. I would have taken the chance. Right now, I would not have added to my bullish position. I would wait for a 3 or a 4 breaking out above resistance and looking for 80+% signaling. Because the moment this goes to 83%, I promise you guys, unless there is the SegWit 2x clown code involved, right? If there is no 2x clown code involved, I'm as certain as I can be that the price of Bitcoin would be at 2,500 to 2,600 easy, with an 83% here in the next 3 to 4 days. Because if 85% here comes at the end of next week, it's too late. Way more uncertainty, okay? But there is still a decent probability that we go to 1,200, okay? Absolutely, because 1,200 is my strong support. My strong support is right here. See this 9 right there? Boom. It has nothing to do with the 9, but it just happens to be at that number. See this 13? That's my support. I talked about it in the last video. Between 1,200 and 1,300 is my strong support, like 1,250 if you want the average. All right. So that's Bitcoin. Quick word on Litecoin. So if Bitcoin gets SegWit without any controversy, Litecoin versus Bitcoin may not do so good, but Litecoin in dollar terms should be okay. We had this cup and handle. Again, this is the daily chart. I recently started throwing in the numerical indicator. It's amazing how there was a 9 right here telling you to take profit, and there was a 9 right there telling you to take profit, okay? Right now, it's on a bearish trade, all right? According to this indicator alone. As of this 2, I haven't looked at the chart in a while, guys. As of this 2, as of today, as of yesterday, this became a short play, all right? If anyone wants the Litecoin chart, live viewers, boom, there's my Litecoin chart, and here is my weekly Litecoin chart. There you go. Enjoy. I just pasted them in the live chat so you guys can look at them forever and ever. All right. So yeah, this countdown is actually still in play. So this can still get to a red 13 and a red 9. So let's see how that goes. All right. Again, this isn't looking great, but the week isn't over yet. The Litecoin weekly chart isn't looking as strong as it did last week. Last week, it was looking like we had the like a new high weekly close on Litecoin, getting ready to go up. This week isn't looking too good, but Bitcoin is, resolving its SegWit problem activation better than expected, right? Like this bounce in Bitcoin is all about, getting SegWit in early, avoiding the hard fork, okay? All right, Monero. Monero in dollar terms, I didn't like the fact that it broke below this line here, but it's done it before. So Monero in dollar terms is totally neutral right now. This is useless. I'm not even going to bother. Unfortunately, this triangle, which had about a 70-75% chance of breaking out to the upside for a huge gain in Monero, looks like it's breaking down, but it's still above the 50-day moving average. Therefore, if it closes below this line, then Monero may not be so bullish. I can throw the numerical indicator on this weekly candles. I don't know what it's going to show. Probably nothing. And it's showing me absolutely nothing. Though this red 2 was a tradable play to the downside. Oh, man, sorry, guys. I got, like, lawnmowers going outside. I hope it's not too much background noise right now. But there's nothing I can do about that. I can close the windows, but it's kind of hot, so I don't want to do that. So, all right. So I'm done with Monero. General commentary, probably not much. Nothing has changed. No core developer cares about SegWit 2x clown code. The number of user-activated soft fork nodes continues to go up. And it's going up, like, these are real nodes. Real nodes. Look, you see this bump right there? Oh, man. That tells you that, like, in the last couple of days, a bunch of people switched, real people, switched their user-activated soft fork nodes to the latest version of the node, okay? This is some of the best protection you can have. Please go back to my updates on Bitcoin chain split and forking, where I talked about the timeline from CoinDesk, which I think is absolutely terrible. I think this is dumb. I think this is completely inaccurate, in my opinion. So I didn't like this timeline at all. I criticized it. A very good article from Jimmy. By the way, in my videos and in this video, look, all of these sources, all of these links, this is all important, guys. If you really want to understand this stuff, you really want to read all that. This is a good timeline. I didn't really talk about it in detail, but check it out. All of these links are in the description of my video. Another source to see who's signaling for what. This is what I want to talk about, okay? So, hey, thank you for your donations, guys. Thank you for reaching out to me for consulting. My rate is 0.1 Bitcoins per hour, and I cover so many things. We can talk about trading. We can talk about teaching you how to trade. I've been talking to miners. I've been talking to like finance people. So it's really been a complete diversity, as long as it's something I can help you with. But tell me ahead of time what you're interested in, because sometimes you're gonna reply saying you're wasting your money. Like, I don't want to take your money if I can't be of use. And this channel and my consulting is more for higher net worth clients and more advanced people in Bitcoin. I don't really cater to new people in Bitcoin. I apologize. I know a lot of people joined my channel, and I want to point to this. Someone sent me like an email with a huge list of questions, and look, I didn't even have time to read it. I'm sorry. I pulled it up. Maybe if I didn't screw up the first 30 minutes of this video, I would have time to go over it. But these are questions clearly from a new person. And right now, 90% of my audience are senior Bitcoin people, and my responsibility is to them. I am not, like, my channel isn't really dedicated to brand new Bitcoiners. I apologize if that sounds dickish, but there's only one of me with no assistants and no interns. And it's impossible for me to cater to people that found out about Bitcoin last month and people that have been in Bitcoin longer than I have. It's literally impossible. So maybe I can skim these because I know there's a lot of good questions here, and maybe I can briefly reply. But let me just skim it real quick. If you have questions, this is the Q&A part of the show. I don't really have time to talk about my thoughts on the situation, but please check out yesterday's video, and tomorrow's video will have more of that, all right? So BIP91, good for miners, concentrated power, massive Chinese miners, exchanges, highly centralized. I mean, that's not true, right? Look, BIP91 is good for everyone. All BIP91 is doing is bringing us SegWit, which was programmed by Core earlier than the user-activated soft fork BIP148 that may or may not cause a chain split, okay? So BIP91 is actually good for everyone as long as it's safe. The problem is, as long as it's safe, there are two things in every piece of code. There are two things in every piece of code. Whether the code is bad or whether the code is incompetent. Sometimes they're one and the same. Sometimes they're totally different, okay? So if BIP91 is safe code, it's good for everyone. If SegWit 2x is safe code, which no way in hell is it going to be safe code. But even if it was, even if there were competent developers programming SegWit 2x with the 2x side of the equation, and the code itself was not buggy and safe, that code is still dangerous because of what it does. That code is not good for certain parts of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I would be against that code. I'm against SegWit 2x code because it's incompetent code and bad, in my opinion, and written by people that I feel are unqualified. And it's code that I don't think belongs in a Bitcoin system, even if it was written by qualified developers. Okay. Now, BIP91, if that code is safe to use, is good for everyone. It's not only good for the big miners. It has nothing to do with that. In fact, most of the big miners are probably doing this because they screwed up by not activating BIP141. All right, next. BIP148. The core Bitcoin developers and users, well, that's the thing, right? Most core developers are not fans of BIP148. They think it's a little too aggressive to force SegWit into the system. So this is also not true. BIP148 is not good for core developers because some core developers were accused of, forcing their code onto the ecosystem, and they had nothing to do with it. In fact, many core developers were against BIP148, okay? So you can't generalize like this, okay? Next, the group behind SegWit, BIP141, who are the massive Chinese miners. No, this is completely incorrect. The group behind BIP148 are the Bitcoin core developers, okay? That is who built that's who built BIP141, okay? This is the safest code we have. And we were waiting to let the miners lock it in, but they didn't do it. So more aggressive measures had to be done. The aggressive measure 148 came in, and then the more aggressive measure BIP91 came in to avoid the BIP148 measure. Okay, so I'm not even going to read the rest of it because this part was incorrect. So I don't really, I don't know what the rest of it is. Okay. If it happens, user-activated software BIP148 is defeated. The Chinese miners win control of the entire ability to manipulate price. No, again, this is not true, right? Just because BIP148 gets defeated, the most likely outcome is still status quo. But BIP148 will not be defeated because it's kind of written in stone. BIP148, it's whether you get full compliance for SegWit or a bit disruption where people lose value, or a hard fork gets implemented to protect the legacy chain. So and the Chinese miners will not win control because there will be a chain that the Chinese miners don't control and hopefully aren't even mining on. Okay. Now that the miners have activated BIP 191 and SegWit BIP 141 minus BIP 148, the miners will wait until November 2007 to initiate SegWit 2x. They will try, but the only way they will succeed in the 2x part on November is if dumb economic nodes let them. If the economic nodes that have Bitcoin on them, stay with core and no one runs the SegWit 2x clown code, then it won't matter. Then all the miners did was activate SegWit with BIP 91 through BIP 141, which is what BIP 91 is. It speeds up BIP 141. I explained all this on previous videos. Okay, so here come the questions. If the Chinese miners get their way, will it be the end of Bitcoin as far as the medium of exchange? No one knows. I don't know. I won't trust it as a store of value anymore. It can still be a good medium of exchange, but I wouldn't hold on to it. Let me put it another way, right? People pay me 0.1 Bitcoin for consulting. I believe in Bitcoin, okay? So I am holding that 0.1 Bitcoin per every hour of consulting as long as I possibly can. The moment I lose confidence in Bitcoin's store of value, I will immediately cash that all of those consulting fees that people pay me into US dollars because I trust the US dollar, okay? I'm not going to do it into Litecoin. I'm going to go to the US dollar, okay? Now, if I screw up and I don't see the top in Bitcoin and all of it goes to zero, then I go broke, okay? On the flip side, if Bitcoin Unlimited becomes the dominant chain, or SegWit 2x, if I feel like SegWit 2x is succeeding, I will continue to use Bitcoin for my consulting service because it's so easy for people to pay me. But I will immediately cash it out. Maybe I'll sign up with BitPay. Maybe I'll sign up with the Bitmain subsidiary, BitPay, and I'll immediately cash out that 0.1 Bitcoin. You see, one of the reasons why Bitcoin is so valuable is because guys like me that take their salary in Bitcoin, that denominate their net worth in Bitcoin, that only accept Bitcoin for work, and denominate my prices in Bitcoin. I live in Bitcoin. I recently had this argument with someone else who's like, well, Bitcoin is a transactional currency. You can't think of Bitcoin as how much you would have had. I'm like, yes, I can. Because to me, Bitcoin is not a transactional currency. To me, Bitcoin is a currency like the euro is to you, like the US dollar is to someone else. To me, Bitcoin is the currency. I use Bitcoin as a unit of account, okay? Unit of account, Tone Vace's brain value is 0.1 Bitcoins per hour. That's my unit of account, okay? So I keep that. If I don't feel that Bitcoin is a store of value, if I don't feel that Bitcoin can be a unit of account for me, I will just cash it out immediately. And then Bitcoin loses like 80% of its value because of the store of value property. And if a miner like Bitmain doesn't give a rat's ass about the store of value property, if Bitmain doesn't save a single Bitcoin, if all they do is sell equipment and they keep their money in Chinese Chinese yuan, if they keep their money in US dollars, if they just selling the equipment, if the moment they mine a block, they immediately sell it for cash the moment they can get it, then they don't care about the store of value property of Bitcoin. They couldn't care less what the price of Bitcoin is. All they care is how much shovels they get to sell to people that are mining for gold. Okay, that's the real difference. Okay, will it be doomed and fail because of the corrupt? I mean, look, every system tries to get corrupt. You need more and more nodes. You need more and more decentralized nodes that are up to date. You need more and more of these nodes. and that know what they're doing, that are validating their own transactions, keeping the system decentralized. Okay. If that scenario plays out, Bitcoin fees will become outrageous and extremely expensive. Look, no one is forcing your business to use Bitcoin, right? So like most businesses don't care. I'm not going to get into this stuff. Anyway, so guys, if you send me like a long email with a lot of questions, there's a very high probability I will never finish reading it. All right. No offense, but like I said, unfortunately, there's just one of me and my time is limited. All right, let's get to the questions from the live viewers. What am I on here? I think I'm going up. I'm almost at an hour, right? So I'm like 50 minutes in, I think. I'll try and keep these shorter. All right, let's go with thank you, Rich, for compiling questions. Thank you guys for your donations. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the private consulting clients. I think that's try to thank everyone as much as I can. Let me stop screen share. From now on, all of these videos will begin with screen share to avoid future screw-ups, okay? All right, first question. Tone, I'm very concerned about the recent announcement by Coinbase that they will not support the user-activated hard fork. Hard fork? Who is doing a user-activated hard fork? Please, I am very surprised by this question, guys. So apparently Coinbase has said that they will not support the user-activated hard fork. The reason why I'm surprised by that question is because I think Coinbase is the most, not the most, they haven't been hacked yet. I think Coinbase is one of the most incompetent companies in the space, okay? I've always been critical of Coinbase from the first day that company came into existence and Brian Armstrong opened his mouth, okay? So I am surprised that they are not going with a stupid idea. The user-activated hard fork is incredibly dumb. I am surprised that Coinbase isn't supporting a dumb idea, okay? Maybe there's hope for them, but I severely doubt it, all right? So let me back up. So I have to go back to screen share. So in my YouTube channel, right, there is an article here from somewhere from Bitmain. Bitcoin Magazine, no. Maybe I didn't put it up. Maybe it's already not here. Okay, so in that case, so if you go to my YouTube channel, whoever asked that question, if you go to my YouTube channel, videos, where is it? Here it is. Bitmain's miner activated hard fork. That's what I called it. I called it the miner activated hard fork. And the article is in the description of the video right here. I called it the miner activated hard fork. And here it is, the user activated hard fork. Okay, that's what Bitmain called it. So this is an attempt to fork Bitcoin into 2 Bitcoins. Okay, and I have an entire video. Is this it? Yeah. I have an entire video explaining this article sentence by sentence. So you might want to check that out for more information. All right. It's possible that Coinbase, it's very possible that maybe someone at Coinbase got a brain to actually do something right, and they're not supporting a user-activated hard fork. I'm still finding this very difficult to believe. All right, next. Do you have the same error on full node 148, unknown block version being mined? My node is at my cabin, and I'm here. So that has to do with BIP 141. I've seen that from other people. That's okay. I believe that should be okay. I haven't seen that error. So I'm not the best person to answer that question, but I'm sure there are plenty of resources on Reddit or on Twitter that can explain it. As far as I know, that is not something to worry about too much. Next, if the user activated soft fork happens, what do you think is the best way to acquire user-activated soft fork Bitcoins? Oh, all you have to do is accept your Bitcoins on your BIP148 node. If the Bitcoins come in and get validated on your BIP148 node, they will be BIP148 Bitcoin. Just give it like, a fair amount of confirmations, and your Bitcoins are user-activated soft fork compatible. Where do you recommend people go to learn how to read charts and trade Bitcoin? Well, learning charts has nothing to do with trading Bitcoin. Learning charts is learning how to trade. Where you trade is really up to you. So back in the day when I learned how to trade in general, before Bitcoin ever existed, there weren't that many internet sources back in the day. YouTube was just coming around, okay? But back in the day, I hate so many websites have remodeled their websites, and I hate them all. Like my favorite websites were from like 6 years ago. Everyone makes fun of my blog because it's old school, but I love it. You go to my homepage, you see like my last 8 or 9 posts on my blog. Everything is on the first page. You don't have to click anything. All you have to do is go to Liberty Life Trail, and you can read my last 8 blog posts in full. Not a single additional mouse click is needed. This is how I used to love all of my websites. Today, every website makes me click 3 freaking times to read an article. It's ridiculous. I have my Twitter feed on the left. I have my history on the left, archive on the left. I have my calendar on the right, and I have my useful links, which were last updated 3 years ago. I really need to update this, okay? So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent again. This was my favorite site to learn how to trade. Because of the remodeling of the website, I now hate it, but the information hasn't changed. They have this thing called Chart School. This was an amazing resource for me. And then again, everything here is now screwed up because of the remodeling of the website, which I can't stand. And then the most important thing to learn is candlesticks. And I have no clue where they have candlesticks now. So, candle. Then you look for Chart School. There it is, CH, Candlestick Pattern Directory, sample, Candlestick Pattern Directory, I don't know. I don't know where to go, right? Like here, Chart School Chart Analysis, okay? What are charts? Chart patterns, a candle volume, candlestick charts, finally. Introduction to candles. That's where you start, it's completely out of order. It's very annoying, but all the information you need is here. I really, really liked it back when they had it properly organized. If I only had, infinite amount of time and assistance, I would put together my own version of Chart School. But half of the stuff in Chart School, I never even learned. And there's a whole directory here, so this is great. Also, back in the day, there weren't many YouTube channels at all back when I was doing it. I mean, YouTube was brand new when I was learning how to trade. So there was one chartist, Informed Trades. There we go. So this YouTube account, I don't know how active it is today, but yeah, last video posted was 1 year ago, okay? But back in the day, 9 years ago, this is around the time when I started to learn how to chart. I thought that these were great videos. I was actually annoyed that all these videos are only 5 minutes long. I would rather have, a 30-minute video explaining one concept than have that video broken up into, 3, like part 1, part 2, MACD, part 1, part 2, part 3. I'd rather have like a 30-minute MACD video, right? I hated that. For me, I'd rather have like a longer, like a 30-minute video than a bunch of 5-minute videos. All right. So there you go. So those were, they're nowhere near the best learning how to trade resources, but they're the only ones I'm familiar with because both of these resources were around 8+ years ago. Okay. So that's why that's the only thing I can recommend because the only thing I've seen. Why is 2 your favorite sell indicator? Well, it's not a sell or a buy indicator, right? It's a sell and a buy, right? So it doesn't have to be a 2. What I'm looking for is, man, I hope you guys don't hear all that, grass cutting. What I look for is not necessarily a 2. In this case, it was a 3. I look for a red number with a lower low than the previous red number, right? So if this 2 went lower than the 1, then it tells me to sell. But it didn't, so it didn't tell me to sell. This 3 went lower than this 2, so it told me to short, okay? So and these are some of the things I talk about in detail with my private clients for consulting, all right? All right, back to questions. I'm coming up in an hour, guys. I'm going to cut this soon. I got a handful of questions. Is it more secure to store my Bitcoin on a Trezor hard wallet than a wallet software Exodus? I'm not sure what Exodus is. So by default, I can't recommend it. I think Trezor is one of the safest ways to store your Bitcoin. That's the best advice I can give you. It may proven to be otherwise in the future, but for now, a Trezor is one of the safest places to store your Bitcoin, as far as I know. All right, next question. If a hard fork is the only way to get rid of the BU actors, no, God no. If the BU hard forks, okay. If they hard fork, you're going to get rid of them for a month. And then their chain is going to collapse. And they're all going to come back. And then they're all going to tell you where the mistakes were. And that next time will be different. You're never getting rid of them, guys. They have to rage quit like Mike Hearn. I mean, we thought Gavin Andresen rage quit, but he's back. We thought fake Satoshi rage quit, promised to never be on camera, and he lied. You're never getting rid of them. Never getting rid of them. All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sorry for the beginning of the video. I kind of messed it up. I'll get the screen share right next time, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll probably do a video tomorrow that has nothing to do with the markets, and it's all about the progress of getting a SegWit. But I don't even need to look at that progress. All I got to do is look at the price of Bitcoin, and I see the price of Bitcoin going down. And if the price of Bitcoin is going down, I can almost guarantee you that the amount of signaling for BIP91 is going down. Let's see. Oh, and what a surprise. We've fallen. Okay. And by the way, the closer, the more time passes, the more relevant this point number will be, right? So right now, we just went from 77.7 down to 77, and the price dropped about 20 bucks, okay? If we go from 77.7 to 77, 3 days from now, that price won't drop 20 bucks. It might drop 100 bucks and plus, okay? So we need SegWit. If you want price to go up, you better be supporting SegWit. It's as simple as that. It really is. Like I said, I didn't have to look at this. I look at the price. Price tells me all I need to know. All I need to know. Okay? Or the other way around. All I got to do is look at this number. All I got to do is look at this number right here, and I'll tell you where the price is. Right? It's hard to trade it though, right? Because they kind of happen simultaneously. One isn't like, well, you have to have like literally an algo. You have to be trading by the second, and then the moment this, you have to have like a live update to this, and then you can probably like trade Bitcoin and profit from it, or you're driving the market. Okay, I'm not driving this market, guys. Nothing to do with me. It's all right here. It's all right here in front of you. All right. Oh, I'm not sharing screen again. I'm like retarded. I am retarded today, guys. I'm sorry. Let's go back to screen share. This is what I'm talking about. I refreshed this, and it went from 77.7 to 77. And the reason I knew that happened is because I looked at the price, and I saw that the price was lower by about $20. So I said, I bet you that when I go to this chart and I refresh it, this number will be lower. And it was by 0.7. You know, I don't know how often this updates. I think this updates every block. So every block, that updates, and there we go. Okay. So if we stay at 77%, we're not going to reach this goal. And if we don't reach this goal, the price is going to take a hit. And all I got to do is look at price, and the price is telling me where we are. If this goes to 85%, boom, price will shoot up. All right. But having this at 77% 5 days from now is not going to be pretty for the price. Okay. People are getting nervous. There's enough speculators out there. This SegWit 2x clown code has removed the original plan for Bitcoiners to kind of take their money off exchanges and save it. Now, the anticipation is that August 1st isn't going to do much. And you can speculate on the value of your Bitcoin based on the probability of SegWit entering before August 1st. All right. Clearly, I'm tired. I don't even know what I am or aren't screen sharing. On this note, I have to say goodbye. This video is now over an hour long, and I'll catch you all on the next one. All right. Bye, guys.